Appreciate everybody sticking around, and we'll try not to put you to sleep. I know it's been a long day. You've had a lot of conversations, and we're looking forward to getting out of here and having some time to network with some of the folks that are here. But I said, my name is Mike Dickinson. I'm manager of operations for Williams, located here in Wyoming County. I live up in Tunkhannock Township up there, and lead our operations team. We operate in the area in Luzerne, Wyoming, and Susquehanna counties, as well as Broome County, New York. And kind of starting off, I just wanted to say thanks to Marcellus Shell Coalition and Tioga and Nanga and API for putting this together. And I want to recognize one of my co-workers, teammates here, Helen Humphreys, and tell her thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak today. She could give this presentation in her sleep, but she came to me a couple days ago and said, "Hey, Mike, I got a development opportunity for you." And that's always, when somebody says that to you, you kind of start off saying, "Uh-oh, what does that mean?" But appreciate that. Real quick before we get into some conversation about midstream and infrastructure, kind of got the company commercial here. Basically, Williams is an integrated natural gas company located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and just recently we have refocused our company around infrastructure and the infrastructure side of the business. And so that's really where all of our energy is focused, both on the gathering and processing side as well as the interstate transportation side. Publicly traded Fortune 500 company. In 2012, our revenue was around $8 billion. We have about 4,400 employees across the United States and in Canada, and been in operations and business for more than 100 years. So I've been doing this for a while and understand the infrastructure side of the business. Primarily, our operations are in the Pacific Northwest, Rocky Mountains, Eastern Seaboard, and Pennsylvania. So, Paul, I wish I could tell you I spent a lot of time slaving over these slides. I really just scalped a few of them off some of our investor calls here. And so, but I think they illustrate some of the points that we want to get to today. A lot of talk about rig count and is the Marcellus here to stay, and what's things going to look like in the future, and we see some declines here and there and some hesitancy around there. Just before we dive into too much of that, I'd just say Marcellus is here to stay. The resource is in the ground, and we've heard a lot of panelists here talk about that. It's there, it's in the ground, it's going to get developed. My grandkids will be working in this play 50 years from now. But right now, it's not about rig count. There's a lot of focus on that, how many rigs are running and where they're running. Really right now, the bottleneck is in infrastructure. The real issue that we've got out there today is in infrastructure. The resource is there, and the challenge is getting the resource from the place, from where those wells are being drilled, to the market where it can be used. And that's really what Williams focuses on. It's midstream. We'll go out and our customers are those producers. Our customers are the folks that are drilling the wells. And we'll go work with them to help put the infrastructure in place and to move the gas from the well to the market point and provide any kind of processing that's necessary to make that product useful in the market there. This slide just kind of shows the growth that we've seen in Pennsylvania. Without diving into too many details there, you can see we've gone from just under about 400 million cubic feet a day back in 2011. It's a little bit dated information, but over 1 BCF in 2012, second quarter of 2012. And just to put that in perspective, we've done some numbers around it. I was looking at some data. I think the average daily production in 2012 for the entire country was 70 BCF a day. So 1 BCF, 1.3 or whatever that number is there, is about 2% of the entire domestic demand. That's just what's being handled by our little company, Williams, here in Pennsylvania. So you can see that number growing very quickly. And as that supply point here in Pennsylvania continues to grow, we've got these infrastructure challenges, and that infrastructure is trying to expand as the drilling expands, and the rate of that expansion is where those bottlenecks are seen. We're seeing those bottlenecks move. Infrastructure challenges are complex in the Marcellus. You got permitting challenges and understanding what's necessary to be able to work. I think folks are learning, both sides, both the regulators and the industry are learning what's necessary to get work progressing and projects approved and moving forward. We also have a lot of dynamic pressure situations where as these new wells come on, these large wells come on, they pressure out some older wells. You don't necessarily net full production there. And that's where the compressor stations come in. It's very important for us to get these compressor stations installed so they can provide the horsepower to pull the pressure down and to hold those pressure levels at levels that can allow all the wells to produce to their maximum. We're seeing those bottlenecks shift from the midstream space where Williams operates on the gathering and processing side. We're seeing those bottlenecks shift to the transmission side, even downstream of the gathering. We're seeing the major transmission lines, the Transcos, the Tennessees, the Millenniums, the Stagecoach, those folks really starting to fill up, and the takeaway capacity area is starting to tighten. So a lot of infrastructure work to do to be able to get the gas from this prolific source that we have in Marcellus out to the market where it can be used. And to that end, the less distance we need to take the gas before it's used, the better. So the more of that we can consume here locally, we're going to have the best price point here in Wyoming Valley and the Northeast PA. So take advantage of that resource that's underneath our feet. There's a lot of opportunity for us to do that here and watch our local economy grow because of. Just a few infrastructure pictures, laying some pipeline. We've got some guys over there doing some survey work. A picture of a right-of-way there with some pipeline strung out, getting ready to be laid. And up top there, we got some folks laying some pipeline in the ditch. If you ever get a chance to go out and take a tour, you ask one of these guys that are in the pipeline business for a tour of the job site. It's pretty neat to watch them put the pipe in. Down on the right, you got a picture of a fully restored right-of-way there. When it's all said and done, we kind of wind up with that a nice green fairway there through the trees. Again, this is another slide that I pulled. Information is a little bit dated from one of our earnings reports, but just talking about some of the major projects that's Williams going on. Really, what I want to highlight here, these are Williams as an infrastructure company is focused on a lot of infrastructure development coast to coast across the country. And the thing that I want to highlight with this slide is we've got, this is total investment for the company around the country by area, but the very large blue wedge, not really a wedge, kind of the Pac-Man side of that, the blue piece, is over 50% of our infrastructure investment for the entire company is located in Marcellus up here in northeast Pennsylvania. And the reason that is that that's where the most need for infrastructure development in the country is right now. It's where the most important projects are. And it's really an exciting time to be in that transportation space here in the Northeast. As that infrastructure grows, and one of the things that has been alluded to already, where are we going to go? So once we figure out how to get that infrastructure to get the gas out of the field and get it into the market, what are we going to do with it? Who's going to consume it? Who's going to use that? This is a slide just talking a little bit about increased consumption along our Transco pipeline that runs along the eastern seaboard. And one of the things that you'll note, each one of those little power plants there is a power plant that's got some type of project associated with it that's tied toward increased natural gas demand for electrical generation. And of the projects that are out there, again, these are just limited to the ones that are within striking distance of our Transco pipeline. So this theme is across the country for any of these infrastructure points. But we're seeing about 5 BCF of incremental natural gas power generation demand just in this one area. So I mean, you put that in perspective, 5 BCF when the total country's consumption right now is about 70 BCF. That's a significant percent increase in demand just for power generation. And that's because the price of gas is good. We're going to have stable pricing going forward. We're going to have, more important, stable pricing. We're going to have stable, relatively low pricing at a point that works for everybody. And so continue to see that grow and continue to work infrastructure projects with these folks all the way from those end consumers up to the wellhead to try to bring all that together. So Anyway, that's all my comments. If you guys have more questions about the midstream space or have other questions about Williams in general, we'd be happy to visit with you afterwards and stick around for a little while. Thanks for your time.